Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, and welcome back to tonight's second half. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and you know what? It really matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's second half. Shall we? Just what will NWO do to protect their secrets? Well, tonight we are going to find out just how far they are willing to go. I mean, I don't even think this is as deep as it gets, to be honest with you. I think this is just skimming the surface. On July 13th, 2009, the New York Times ran a story about the CIA running an assassination squad using U.S. military special forces against foreign terrorists without congressional approval on the orders of former Vice President Dick Cheney. The Times story confirms claims by Seymour Hersh on March 2009 that an assassination squad had been created and reported directly to Cheney using special forces personnel. The covert CIA project was shut down by CIA Director Leon Panetta when he learned of it on June 23, 2009. Details of the project were passed on the next day to the United States Congress and led to furor over the reports. A statement by 7 members of the House Intelligence Committee concerning the CIA misleading Congress was subsequently released. The covert CIA program allegedly began in 2001, soon after the 9/11 attacks. The unfolding revelations of CIA death squads using U.S. military special force personnel coincides with the online release of a video testimony of a former United States Navy SEAL who said he had recruited to perform 18 assassination assignments for the CIA. If true, the SEAL's testimony reveals that covert assassinations predate the 9/11 attacks and also targeted U.S. citizens. Curiously, the assassinations were related to covert projects Dick Cheney was allegedly involved in when he was the Secretary of Defense for George H.W. Bush from 89 to 93. Connor O'Ryan was a pseudonym used by Derek Hennessey, who claims in video testimony recorded in 91 that he performed covert missions for the CIA in the 80s, assassinating enemies of the United States. After joining the United States Navy in the early 80s, O'Ryan/Hennessey claims he joined the elite SEALs and was eventually tasked to perform his covert assassination missions. He said the targets of the assassination hits even included United States citizens. He described his 18th and final mission as a sergeant for the United States Army Green Beret stationed at the United States Embassy in Budapest, Hungary. O'Ryan/Hennessey's extraordinary claims were investigated over a 10-year period by a retired lieutenant colonel with the United States Air Force, Wendell Stevens. During his investigation, Stevens was able to confirm Hennessey's military ID and that he was assigned to the CIA performing covert missions. Concerned that O'Ryan/Hennessey may have been a part of an intelligence operation to discredit him, Stevens did not release the initial results of his investigation until 2001. Video testimony of O'Ryan/Hennessey is included in a set of interviews conducted with Stevens currently being released on the internet. In the interview, Stevens disclosed documents that he had in his possession verifying Hennessey's covert CIA missions. One such document was apparently written on CIA letterhead with the instructions for O'Ryan/Hennessey on his last mission. Stevens read out loud the document's contents as follows: "You are to report to the American Embassy in Budapest, Hungary. You will be received by S.A. Gray Wolf. As a unit, you will proceed to terminate in ex-S.A. David T. Johnson. According to Stevens, the document was Orion/Hennessey's final hit order 1 month before he left his final assignment at a secret facility in Nevada. Another document is Orion/Hennessey's W-2 salary statement that showed he was earning $74,000 for the CIA. Though only a sergeant, he was earning the equivalent of a colonel's salary at the time. Stevens was able to confirm that the serial number and code word on the W-2 were active through an anonymous FBI source. In the video, Stevens mistakenly refers to the salary statement as a W-4, but a copy of the W-2 is clearly shown. Combined with Orion/Hennessey's recorded video testimony, the documents, if genuine, would be a smoking gun evidence that the CIA assassination squad, using United States military personnel, predated 2001 and even targeted United States citizens. To date, neither of the documents have been released to the public. Only video images are available. Independent document authenticity still has to be concluded. The confirmation of the W-2 by the anonymous FBI contact of Stevens is a powerful support for the legitimacy of Orion/Hennessey's story. There is good reason, however, to be skeptical about the CIA hit order document legitimacy. It is difficult to accept that the CIA would be so explicit in putting on CIA stationery orders to terminate a serving United States military non-commissioned officer. One could reasonably argue that such orders, if put on paper, would be done in a more cryptic manner without the CIA logo. This would be consistent with the assassination directive that former CIA Director Alan Dulles allegedly drafted in '61 and was later authorized by a group responsible for covert operations called Majestic 12. According to Dulles' assassination directive, used the cryptic phrase, "It should be wet," as a code word for assassinations designed to protect Majestic 12 operations. If indeed there has been a CIA assassination program that predates 2001, it may originate from the Dulles 61 draft assassination directive. The directive was allegedly received by the chief of CIA counterintelligence, James Jesus Angleton, in 1961, and subsequently linked to President Kennedy's assassination. If Orion/Hennessey did eliminate a serving Green Beret in Budapest in '91, as he claims, then the authority for such an assassination may derive from Dulles' 61 draft assassination directive. If Orion/Hennessey's CIA hit order letter is a hoax, that raises an equal perplexing question. Why would Wendell Stevens, a longtime researcher of UFO phenomenon, be targeted in an elaborate intelligence operation to discredit him with a contrived story about CIA assassinations using elite military special force personnel in '91? Orion/Hennessey spent an extended period hiding with Stevens and associates while allegedly on the run. During this time, a series of events occurred that persuaded those giving shelter to Orion/Hennessey that he was genuinely being monitored and threatened to return voluntarily to his program. Eventually, Orion/Hennessey disappeared and has never been heard from again. If Orion/Hennessey's testimony is even partially correct, as Stevens' confirmation of his W-2 suggests, it would confirm the existence of an assassination team run by the CIA prior to 2001. His testimony reveals that even U.S. citizens were eliminated due to agendas of highly classified covert operations run out of the CIA. Orion/Hennessey apparently became a target when he shared his information with Stevens, and this may have been related to his disappearance. For the last 9 months of his military service during his final assassination missions, Hennessey was assigned to a covert facility in Nevada called S4 to perform sentry duty for a highly classified covert project. It was there that he witnessed Dick Cheney arrive one day to inspect a project maintaining the secrecy of which was related to his earlier assassination missions. Around April of 91, Dick Cheney was taken inside the secret underground facility located in the remote area in Nevada's adjacent to Nellis Air Force Base to view captured flying saucers and dead extraterrestrial bodies. The startling claims were made by former security guard at the facility who in October of 91 gave his testimony on video. The guard had documents and photos supporting his claims of working on a secret facility called S4. The guard, Derek Hennessey, used the pseudonym Connor Orion in giving his testimony. A set of interviews with Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens, Air Force retired, and his associate, Jem Cox. Orion/Hennessey claims that he worked for 8/9 years as a SEAL and performed various covert operations. He said that 18 of these missions were assassinations sanctioned by the CIA and other agencies. During the last months of his military service in 91, he worked at a remote S4 facility which had stringent security procedures. It appeared that the isolation and security at S4 helped assassins hide their trail after missions. Orion/Hennessey described his work on the second level of S4 facility. S4 employed approximately 75 personnel on levels 1 and 2. He said he was aware of further 2 levels of the facility, but was never allowed to enter levels 3 and 4. He said that approximately 12 to 15 personnel worked at levels 3 and 4. His primary duty was to guard the elevators to them, which required 3 keys, a thumbprint, and a retinal scan to open. Orion/Hennessey described the hangar facilities on level 2 for storing the 7 flying saucers retrieved at various crash sites. There were 10 hangar bays in total. The facility was described as a museum, suggesting it was designed to store advanced extraterrestrial technology that had been superseded. He revealed how 1 or more of the flying saucers would be raised to the surface for a flight test. This would occur only when no Russian or other spy satellites were passing overhead. All testing would stop when satellites were detected. He also described 7 tubes with bodies of extraterrestrial biological entities, EBE, typically described as grays. A biologist would regularly check the fluids to maintain the right temperature and fluid mix to maintain the bodies. In addition to the photos he had shown to 2 witnesses, Orion/Hennessey drew pictures in his taped interview describing the facility. Orion/Hennessey described the day Cheney visited as around the time when the United States was closing military bases at the end of the Cold War. Cheney was accompanied by 3 other officials and escorted by 2 base security personnel. He said Cheney only visited the first 2 levels of S4 facility and saw both the flying saucers and the bodies of the dead extraterrestrial. Orion/Hennessey said, in quotes, "I was on level 2 at the time of his visit, and I watched him go in, and he went into the back building. And we were called up to the guard the front of the hangar area. He saw the bodies, too. The 7 little gray people." End quote. A supercomputer and photo analyst expert, Jim Diltesso, allowed Orion/Hennessey to stay at his property for 1 month. Diltesso said Orion/Hennessey showed him both and Jem Cox photographs allegedly taken at S4. He saw photos of what appeared to be extraterrestrial vehicles and extraterrestrial bodies in glass tubes. He also saw a photo with Dick Cheney standing on a balcony, allegedly inside of S4, viewing the area below with flying saucers and bodies while Orion/Hennessey was allegedly on duty. Diltesso also recognized the former director of the NSA, Admiral Bobby Ryan Inman, United States Navy, retired, as one of the officials in the photo with Cheney. How credible is Orion/Hennessey testimony? The most significant document evidence is the W-2 obtained by Stevens. The control number 45851, employer identification number 95-6593572, and employer's state ID 2464423P were checked and confirmed by Stevens' FBI contact. According to the FBI contact, Orion/Hennessey had been deprogrammed and reprogrammed after being taken back into the covert programs by the CIA and naval intelligence on various covert assignments. The W-2 and numbers can be investigated for independent confirmation. Furthermore, Orion/Hennessey revealed many details in his video testimony to Wendell Stevens and Jem Cox about his background and events that can also be investigated for corroboration. Finally, Orion/Hennessey stayed for 1 month with supercomputer and photo analysis expert Jim Del Testo, who, along with Cox, witnessed the photos and a duty roster that Orion/Hennessey showed him. Del Testo also described a bizarre incident that changed his initial skepticism toward Orion/Hennessey's amazing story. Returning from a 91 Thanksgiving party that Orion/Hennessey attended, Del Testo found a package at the inside front gate of his ranch. Thinking it was from him, Del Testo took it. When it was later opened, a severed finger was found along with a threatening note directed at Orion/Hennessey to return photos and other evidence of S4. Together with other strange episodes indicating close surveillance by a mysterious group of people, Del Testo decided it was time for Orion/Hennessey to leave. Orion/Hennessey says he decided to come forward after he was told that he had contracted a rare form of Hodgkin's disease. Being 29 at the time and in good health with no history of the disease in his family, he suspected that he was being set up for elimination. In retaliation, he decided to become a whistleblower and release photos taken at S4. Orion/Hennessey's remarkable testimony, if substantiated, clearly reveals that Richard Cheney, while Secretary of Defense, had directly witnessed S4 and covert programs involving extraterrestrial life and technology. That may explain why George Bush deferred to Cheney while the 2000 presidential campaign on questioning concerning the UFO information would be released. It will be the first thing he, pointing to Cheney, will do. He'll get right into it. Alas, after a tumultuous 8 years as vice president, Cheney never chose to disclose anything about his alleged visit to S4 and knowledge of extraterrestrial life and technology. Crazy. Very crazy. CIA will do anything to protect its secrets. Take out terrorists, take out United States citizens. Dick Cheney is a criminal, if you ask me. Ironically enough, his daughter, who also appears to be a criminal, is speaking out against certain people who want to drain the swamp and release information to the public. I know, for one, Trump did want to release information about Kennedy and about UAPs/UFOs, but was quickly shot down on that, and I wonder why. Probably out of fear of his life. It's just very, very scary to imagine what the people we are supposed to believe will take care of us, will have our best interest at heart. Why? After all, they are our country's leaders, but they don't. They don't care about anything except their money and their power. I truly believe that. Cheney, I always knew was a dirty son of a gun. Rumsfeld as well. Bush, both Bush. Well, Bush Jr. is a little too dumb to be anything other than a patsy. But, and then of course there's Clinton. So, you got these two sides that are fighting in front of the public forum. But I think that's just a show. That's just to keep our eyes centered on what's going on right in front of us and not to look sideways or behind us for the answers, because legitimately that's where they are. And with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed tonight's second half as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. May the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.